Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. I hope that you're enjoying your weekend, and today we're back to talk about something from yesterday's blog post, something that I've at least had a day now to kind of percolate in my mind to think about, how I felt about this, and that has to do with Apocalypse and Super Skrull, both in the Diamonds and I was about to say Red Skull, Red Star category. And I think at least for Apocalypse, this is probably a little bit of a no-brainer. But when it comes to Red Skull, Super Skrull, I think there's a little bit more of a conversation to be had. And I think that's where most of the video is going to go. So for the first half, we're going to talk about Apocalypse, his diamonds, his Red Star cost for some people who might not have it, and my thoughts on him. And then in the second half, we're going to be talking about Super Skrull in more detail in terms of whether or not you should actually do it or not. And this is going to be largely from a free-to-play, maybe light spender perspective, because the amount of dark promotion and dark diamonds in some instances that people will have is going to be significantly different, obviously, than spender. So I think it's worth noting. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. Now, first off, I just want to, go back to the blog post really quickly and just, recap in case people missed this. And actually, this was not on the blog when I originally did my blog reading, but I did post in the pinned comment down below about it. That Apocalypse diamonds are going to be 1,200 for one, 2,400 for two, and 6,000 for three. That's a grand total of 9,600 for all three diamonds. We'll talk about how much I have, how much you might have, and where you're going to get that coming forward. And then Super Skrull Red Stars are going to be 5,000 for five, 6,000 for six, and 10,000 for seven. Okay, so this is where it gets insane and really prohibitive, and where we need to have a conversation about this a little bit. Frankly, even the 5,000 is pretty prohibitive, I would say, for a 5 red. We're going to compare this with some of the other characters as well, and I have a table of all the dark promotion characters and how they stack up to each other. So this is going to be a really important thing to talk about. Now, Apocalypse and his diamonds. Now, I think that this is pretty much a no-brainer. What I wanted to show with you is what the difference between, say, a 7 yellow, 7 red G18 maxed out Apocalypse would be and adding 3 diamonds on. We're just assuming, maybe you're not 100 yet, but we're just assuming you're eventually going to get there. And most people probably are working towards 7 red for Apocalypse, unless you weren't around for the Apocalypse era. But for those of us who were keeping up with the game, largely this was the thing that I pushed people to do, was to make sure that you 7 redded your Apocalypse before any other character. So in terms of the stats, you can kind of see it here: 3.6 million health, 160k damage. Those are the main ones that I would probably take a look at. And I just want to show you, as we add diamonds on, how that health and damage kind of goes up. So about almost 3.9 million, 2 diamonds, 4.1 million. Damage goes up, obviously, in the scaling, 4.4 million there with 3 diamonds. Now, I guess the first question is, what other alternative is there for diamond characters? And there's not a lot, right? Like what's available right now, characters that you wouldn't really put it in my opinion, you wouldn't really put it into. Let's talk about this right now. So the characters that are available in the 1, 2, and 3 diamond range, you can see their prices here on this side. Ultimus, Ultron, Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Apocalypse, right? And if you look at the cost, Apocalypse is actually the same as what it would cost to upgrade Dormammu, which is good for Apocalypse, right? Because you're most likely to have 7 red on him more than you would on someone like Dormammu. And I think you're going to get a lot more value out of Apocalypse anyways. There is also diamonds on the Horseman characters at 900, 1800, and 4500. But realistically, like, while you might still use some of them here and there, and Morgan Le Fay for Cosmic Crucible and whatnot, the value's not there enough to invest in that unless you're Kraken, Whale Kraken, whatever, right? Like if you look at the 6,000 cost for Apocalypse versus the 4,500 for Morgan Le Fay, that's not significantly different for Apocalypse, who is a much better character, right? Obviously. And it's the same for Zombie Iron Man. It's the same for Spider-Man Big Time, who do have diamonds at this point. The 4,500 for 3 diamonds. The cost is pretty much the same for the Horseman and those characters. So Apocalypse is a no-brainer. Now, where do you get the dark diamonds? You might already have some of this, in terms of where you get that. And I'm sitting on 9,100. Now, the thing is, I am so close. If I hadn't bought that 1 diamond Morgan Le Fay, I did that like as soon as I got the diamond payouts, I think, like, I shouldn't have done it because now at least right now, I cannot go straight to 3 diamond apocalypse. I'm pretty close. I need 9,600. I have 90,85. The 1 diamond Morgan Le Fay cost me 800, I think it was, and so that kind of screwed me over a little bit. Either way, if you hoarded from the beginning, when I probably told people to do it anyways, you probably are close to a 3 diamond apocalypse, and that's good, right? You get it from Cosmic Crucible, you get it from the season payouts, and it's a little bit less this time because the season doesn't last as long. So the next payout is going to be here. A lot of us maybe are within the 1 to 5 or 6 to 15% range. So you're going to get maybe like about 4,000 dark diamonds. So hopefully I can get them before this to finish off my 3 diamond apocalypse. But I think basically the goal would be to get 3D apocalypse and then start saving it for something else, whatever that happens to be. But we need to have an existential question about diamond characters and why this is going to help lead into the Skrull conversation. Because you can't buy diamonds unless you have a character at 7 red, right? And so it's basically related to your income of dark promotion credits, right? If you're not able to get a character to 7 red, you can't even consider upgrading them to diamonds. How many characters do I have at 7 red, you might ask? Well, I have not many. I have Apocalypse. I have Morgan Le Fay because I got the diamond. And that's about it. That's actually it. I think that's it. I don't have any other dark promotion character at 7 red. There's characters I'd like to get up to. Characters like Quicksilver. I would actually really love to do that. And then, of course, Black Knight's eventually going to go there. I think he's on, like, when I can get the yellow stars for him eventually, like, he's going to go up there. And some of the trial characters, but specifically Green Goblin, not Black Cat, Green Goblin, I would like to get up to 7 red. So that's kind of like on my brain and on my agenda right now. So Green Goblin, Black Knight, and Quicksilver. Those are characters that I would like to get to 7 red. They're sitting at 5 right now for me. So I'm going to need a little bit more work. So this leads into the question about Super Skrull. These 3 lines here. Now, and we're going to zoom in a little bit more. I want you to be really, look at this. 5,000, 6,000, 10,000. Compare it with every other character. Actually, you kind of need to see the characters on the left here. But it's so much more. Like, if we're talking about the Horseman characters, it is 4x. If we're talking about some of these other Dark Dimension characters, it's like 1.5x. But it's crazy. Black Knight 5 was 2,800, and Skrull is almost double that, and Black Knight deletes him. Right, so the question, it's a reasonable question that is Skrull worth getting 7? Why am I talking about 7? Because if you're not planning to go to 7, don't do it at all. Why? Because of what I just said about diamonds. You're never going to be able to use your diamond credits if you don't take a character to 7. A lot of people, what they've been doing lately is spreading it out. Right, spreading out that love. Getting characters up to 5 red for all of them, more or less. And I think that's a bit of a problem because that leaves you with not enough dark promotion credits to actually take a character to 7, where you can actually eventually then go on to use those diamond credits. So part of the point here is, if you're going to put any red stars into Super Skrull further, you're going to have to be prepared to do it all the way to 7. Otherwise, it's not worth it, in my opinion. So that's 21,000 dark promotion credits to get up to 7. That is a lot. Black Knight to go from 5 to 7 would be 10,000. I think it's double for sure for Super Skrull. And if you compare this, like, you could do for the same amount, you could do 2 other characters, right? I could do Quicksilver and Black Knight. I could do Black Knight and Green Goblin class. Actually, I could probably do a little bit more than that. But my point is that it's a lot, right? And so, is 2 characters better than Super Skrull? It might be. And the reason for this is, while Super Skrull is not a terrible character, I also didn't really upgrade red stars on Dormammu or Doctor Doom when I had the chance on them either. The difference between Apocalypse, in my opinion, and Super Skrull is that Apocalypse has a mechanic countering ability in his passive with regards to Safeguard. Super Skrull is obviously still a very strong character, but how much are those red stars going to make a huge impact right now in the current meta? And so I want to kind of go back to Super Skrull as well, just like we did for Apocalypse. He's a blue 5 striker maxed out here with 4 red, and kind of take a look at his health and his damage. So let's just go for 1 star, right? For 5 red. And it's incremental. Like, we know that, right? Like, it's incremental. Almost 4 million, 7 red, over 4 million. And so, yeah, is it going to help? Sure. Is it going to be monumentally game breaking? Probably not. I mean, is Apocalypse at 3 diamond? maybe, because 3 diamonds are worth more than 7 red in terms of that, and you're already there. I'm just not entirely convinced, and maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit. I'm not entirely convinced we actually need to take Super Skrull to 7 red. I don't think that the dark promotion credit income is there, especially when we have characters that are arguably a little bit more important in, with Black Knight, but also characters that we don't even know that are not out yet. Right. And so between, I don't know, who's the last character? Between Zombie Juggernaut technically came before Black Knight, and then it was Spider-Man Big Time, right? I think it was in that order. I kind of messed up my table a little bit. But my point is that there's a good possibility that within the next 6 months, that another Dark Promotion credit character is going to come. Like we had, this all happened within a year and a half, right? So it's I think, reasonable to suggest that we're going to have one probably in less than 6 months, honestly. And so you're going to need to be prepared probably to go at least 5 red for them. But like I said, if you really want to go to 7, and that's the thing, because otherwise you're never going to be able to use those dark diamond credits. I need to drive that one home, because so many times people have been splitting their dark promotion credits and never actually getting to 7. And that happened to me because, like I said, the only characters I ever took to 7 was Apocalypse and Morgan Le Fay. And that was very early on. Like I did this very early on in the game. I have, I believe, a 6 on Red Hulk and a 5 on the other 2. I don't think I ever upgraded Rogue and Archangel to 6 red. I could easily check that in game, but I'm a bit lazy right now. But Morgan Le Fay definitely and Apocalypse are my only 7 reds. So where do you get dark promotion credits in the game, and how do we get more of that, right? A lot of it is for light spenders. It's in the battle pass. There's a lot in the battle pass. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit in the free to play section, but a lot of it is kept behind the paywall here. I believe it's 3,500 right now, at least in this current Void Knight battle pass. I could be wrong, but it's a lot. So if you're willing to light spend, or if you want to light spend for a specific character, for some gear, for some ions, and definitely the dark promos, that's the main grab of the RTA pass that you're going to want to spend, which is like $20 US, right, to get this. And so that's kind of the major way that you're going to want to increase your how you're going to get more dark promotion credits. There are milestones occasionally and leaderboards and things like that. I believe the month longs, not Paint the Town Red, Seeing Red, maybe they have dark promos in there. I thought they did. Okay, maybe this one doesn't. Sometimes events have leaderboards with dark promo credits in it, or just within the milestone itself. That's the not the web milestone. Anyways, so they're there, but it's not abundant, is what I wanted to say. Dark promotion credits are not severely abundant. You're going to get a lot of that from opening through your 10x dark promotion, your red star orbs, either through this directly or the other one, which is, just bypassing that a little bit and doing a bulk opening, which is down here. If you want to do it that way, that's primarily where you're getting it. I should really keep track of, like, I don't know, do the start of March to the end of March and see how many dark promotion credits I end up picking up, free to play. Because it's not enough where this is going to be possible. In my opinion, 21,000 is a lot. You're going to be chasing that for at least 6 months. And by that point, you're going to need to already pivot or pick up some of the other characters that are going to be coming out. Whether that's additional shards, additional stars in Black Knight, or whether or not it's a brand new character that's going to be coming out. I think that's very likely. So TLDR, I would caution on Super Skrull. Basically, if you're not willing to go all the way, I wouldn't do it at all. This is kind of where I am with a lot of characters now, where if you're not willing to go to 7, don't bother past 4, really. And I know that Black Knight is going to be a mainstay in this game for quite some time, and I am prepared to take Black Knight up to 7. I would like to do Quicksilver and a Green Goblin, but Black Knight would be kind of my priority because I want to get him to 7. Whether I have the yellows or not, actually, which is a strange thing, because I know that I'll get use out of him. And I'm prepared to do that because I want to eventually spend dark diamonds on him. And in order to spend those dark diamonds, they have to be at 7. So you have that finite resource as the bottleneck of the dark promotion credits, which is preventing some people from spending their dark diamonds when they get them. So that's the biggest problem I have with this. And yeah, I think that people need to start thinking about this a little bit more in depth. In terms of which characters they want to take to 7 red, and what I recommend is not necessarily going to be what you end up doing. This is just my personal opinion. And if you have a really favorite character that you want to take to 7 red to eventually buy diamonds for, that's entirely up to you, and that's, that's okay. How you get fun from the game is entirely your call, right? I can only just give you the information that, I believe in. And so that's what I think. I think that unless you're going to go all the way to 7, which is a very tough call for free to play. It's going to take a long ass time, like at least 6 months, for you to get 21,000 dark promo credits. Maybe more. I don't know. If for people who buy the RTA pass every 2 weeks, I think that's viable, but otherwise, I don't think it is. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. If any of this helped at all to kind of visualize and think about things in the sort of the dark promos, dark diamond kind of thing, because there's a lot going on. And if you're not careful, you're going to have stacks of dark diamonds because you're never getting any of these characters to 7 red because you keep splitting them up and you keep spreading yourself too thin. That's just what I think. Have a great rest of your Saturday and weekend. There's going to be an event video for Black Knight tomorrow, of course. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.